momentum, speed, a rush of adrenaline. These are the things that define Sonic Rush. Released in 2005 for the Nintendo DS, this game took everything great about classic Sonic platforming and cranked it up to another level. Fast-paced gameplay, stylish visuals, and a soundtrack that is, let's be honest, an absolute banger. But Sonic Rush wasn't just another high-speed adventure. It introduced us to a brand new character, Blaze the Cat, a dimensional guardian with a fierce personality and a mastery over fire. Blaze quickly became a fan favorite, and her journey in this game, surprisingly deep for a handheld Sonic title. So today, we're diving into everything that made Sonic Rush such an unforgettable experience. From its story to its gameplay, its music to its legacy, this game deserves the spotlight. Let's hit the ground running and see why Sonic Rush holds up as one of Sonic's greatest handheld adventures. I'm the optimistic Sonic fan, and I like Sonic Rush! Before Sonic Rush sped into the scene, Sonic had been experimenting with different gameplay styles in the early 2000s. After the success of 2D classics and transition into 3D with Sonic Adventure, the Blue Blur needed a fresh take for handheld gaming, one that could push the franchise forward while still delivering the fast-paced action fans love. Enter Dimps, the development studio that had already worked on the Sonic Advance series for the Game Boy Advance. With the release of the Nintendo DS, Sonic Rush was their chance to innovate by combining classic 2D Sonic platforming with the DS's dual-screen setup, creating vertical gameplay that made stages feel even bigger and faster than ever before. But what really made Sonic Rush stand out wasn't just its mechanics, it was its story. Dimps introduced Blaze the Cat, a mysterious guardian from another dimension, adding a fresh narrative angle that made the game more than just another Sonic platformer. And with legendary composer Hideki Nakanuma crafting an electrifying soundtrack, Sonic Rush wasn't just fast, it was stylish. When Sonic Rush launched in 2005, it became a fan favorite, praised for its speed, smooth, great gameplay, and unique art style. It set the stage for future handheld Sonic titles, proving that the franchise could thrive in the 2D space while evolving with modern hardware.
Yes! Do your best, Sonic!
And with that history locked in, let's let's dive into the story, because Blaze's introduction is one of the most interesting arcs in Sonic's handheld history. The story of Sonic Rush might seem simple at first. Dimensional chaos, 2 sets of emeralds, and a villain causing trouble, but beneath the surface, it's actually one of the most meaningful narratives in the franchise. Why? Because it introduces Blaze the Cat and explores her character growth in a way that makes Sonic Rush more than just another speed-heavy platformer. Blaze enters the story as a serious, reserved guardian of the Soul Emeralds, a ruler of another dimension burdened with duty. She's stoic, independent, and, at first, completely unwilling to accept help. It's a stark contrast to Sonic, who is carefree and always up for adventure. This difference in personality creates a fascinating dynamic between the two. Sonic's easygoing attitude frustrates Blaze, and Blaze's rigid, no-nonsense approach doesn't mesh with Sonic's usual approach to heroics. But as the game progresses, the two begin to learn from each other. Blaze realizes that she doesn't have to bear the burden of protecting her world alone, while Sonic starts to understand the depth of Blaze's responsibilities. Their relationship is built on mutual respect, culminating in Blaze opening up and learning to trust others, a massive step for her character. And of course, Eggman and Eggman Nega play their part as the villains, stirring up dimensional havoc and pushing Blaze and Sonic towards their ultimate showdown. The stakes are high, but the heart of the story is Blaze's growth. Her journey from a lone guardian to a hero who understands the value of trust and friendship. For a handheld Sonic game, Sonic Rush delivers a surprisingly meaningful character arc. Blaze doesn't just show up and fight, she evolves, making this more than just another high-speed adventure. Now that we've covered the story, let's talk about the gameplay, because Sonic Rush is fast, fluid, and absolutely wild. If there's one thing Sonic Rush absolutely nailed, it's the sense of speed. This game took classic 2D Sonic platforming and cranked it up to unreal levels, thanks to its boost mechanics. Instead of just relying on momentum like older games, Rush introduced a dedicated boost button, letting Sonic and Blaze tear through levels at breakneck speed. But speed wasn't the only innovation. Rush made full use of the Nintendo DS's dual screens, making stages feel larger than ever. Sonic and Blaze didn't just move left to right. They could dash across both screens, expanding the level design vertically and adding new ways to navigate at high speed. And speaking of navigation, Rush also introduced some of the best boss battles in Sonic handheld history. Each fight felt more dynamic, with Eggman using 3D models for large-scale fights that looked incredible on the DS. Sure, some bosses could be a bit repetitive, but the spectacle made up for it. Blaze's moveset gave her a slightly different feel from Sonic. Her spin and jump and fire-based attacks added variety, making her distinct yet familiar. Playing as Blaze wasn't just a reskin. It felt like a true alternate experience, giving players more reason to replay stages. Fast, fluid, and packed with innovations, Sonic Rush set the bar high for handheld Sonic platformers. But what really made it special? The music and presentation. So let's talk about that next.
Is that it?
If you've ever played Sonic Rush, you know exactly what I'm about to say. The soundtrack is an absolute masterpiece. Hideki Naganuma, the genius behind Jet Set Radio, brought his signature funk-influenced electronic style to the game, giving Rush a sound that felt unlike anything else in the franchise. Tracks like Back to Back, Villanova, and what you need, pulse with energy, blending funk beats. Electronic loops and catchy samples to make every level feel alive. It's one of the most distinct soundtracks in the Sonic series, adding a stylish urban vibe to Blaze's interdimensional adventure. Presentation-wise, Sonic Rush kept a bright and sleek aesthetic, with detailed sprite work that made Sonic and Blaze pop on the screen.
Let's do it.
And let's not forget those boss fights. Seeing Eggman's large 3D models towering over the screen was a unique visual choice that helped to make encounters feel more epic. Overall, Sonic Rush didn't just play well, it looked and sounded amazing. This is a game where the music, art, and gameplay all come together to create a handheld experience that still holds up today. So, I would say this game is perfect. Hey, who turned out the lights? Here we go again. As much as I love Sonic Rush, its fast-paced gameplay, fantastic music, and Blaze's incredible character arc, there's one area that doesn't quite hit the same high marks. The sub-bosses. Now don't get me wrong, the main bosses, including Sonic vs. Blaze and the final showdown, are awesome. They bring a sense of scale and excitement that fits perfectly with the high-energy gameplay, but the sub-bosses, well, they don't quite measure up. Most of them feel a bit underwhelming, lacking in the same dynamic movement or creative attacks as the major fights. While they serve their purpose as mid-stage obstacles, they don't carry the same thrill factor as the encounters with Eggman or the climactic Blaze battle. It's a minor critique in an otherwise fantastic game, but it's worth noting. The sub-bosses just don't elevate the experience the way the other fights do. That said, when you're speeding through the levels, the sheer momentum and style of Sonic Rush more than makes up for it. There, that's all I have to say. Now leave me alone! In the grand tapestry of Sonic games, Sonic Rush stands out not just for its speed, but for its heart. It delivered tight gameplay, a killer soundtrack, and one of the most compelling character introductions in the franchise. Blaze the Cat's journey from isolation to connection gave this adventure more weight than anyone expected from a handheld title. Even with a few stumbles like those underwhelming sub-bosses, Sonic Rush still burns bright as a defining moment in portable Sonic history. And let's be honest, that soundtrack alone is worth the price of admission. Whether it's high-speed hijinks or dimensional span and drama, I'll always be here to celebrate the game that makes us smile. I'm the Optimistic Sonic fan, and I'll see you next time.